skimmed her gaze up the impressively hard chest, barely refraining from leaning in and basking in the man's woodsy citrus scent. It was like catnip for the sexually deprived, which she currently happened to be. Having been the Prima in training for practically her entire life, Rose had met her fair share of stunning supernaturals. Most knew it. A rare few didn't. This guy, in all his 2-day dark blonde scruff and glittering gray-eyed glory, was panty-meltingly gorgeous. And in the former category, judging by the slowly curling smirk.
If 20 is preferable, then 30 or more must be going above and beyond, right? I've always been an overachiever.
Rose swallowed a chuckle. While most people at the party had dressed up in their finest party clothes, this guy sported faded jeans, the sleeves of his dress shirt rolled up to his elbows to reveal colorfully tattooed forearms, corded with muscle. The voice in her head screamed, "Danger, Rose Maxwell, danger!" But her sexually deprived regions cried, "Yum." She matched his smirk with one of her own, her body obviously taken over by a pod person. "Then I guess you and I have that in common."
Wonder what else we have in common.
His voice dropped to a husky purr.
What do you say we go somewhere and find out?
Rose melted into a puddle of need. When was the last time she'd thrown caution into the void? She couldn't remember. At that very moment, all she could recall was Violet and Olive's earlier tag team effort to convince her she needed to get her witch on. In Vi code, that meant let loose. Have fun. And what Rose wanted most in that moment was to have fun with the man pressed against all her tingly bits. Tingling that, for once, didn't have anything to do with the magic swirling just below her eczema-prone skin. Conjuring a dose of bravery, she met his lusty gaze with one of her own, and prayed she looked turned on instead of constipated. It just so happens that this place has a back room that doesn't see a lot of traffic. Gray Eye's lips twitched.
Maybe we should go check it out.
Maybe we should. Goodbye, boring and predictable Rose, and hello, rosy, wanton, and free. Maybe her sucktastic luck had just turned a corner. 1. Mr. Wiggles. From clubbing at popular urban hotspots to in-home versions, complete with bottomless margaritas and a 15-season binge watch of Supernatural, girls' nights were long-standing traditions. Some would say a rite of passage. And they had more variations than Yoplait yogurt or sex toys. Rose was an expert on both. Her fondness for dairy rivaled only her adoration for Jensen Ackles. But her familiarity with the latter? Pure survival. Poor Mr. Wiggles' batteries had been replaced twice already this week alone, and she predicted at least one more swap-out in her future before the weekend came. There'd been that backroom tryst a few months ago with a certain tattooed hottie, but as pleasurable an experience as it had been, one drop of moisture couldn't stop a raging wildfire. It was either take matters into her own hands or be persona non grata on Smokey Bear's hit list. But tonight's GN theme didn't include clubbing attire, alcohol, or the 5-speed waterproof vibrator tucked in her weekend underwear drawer, and instead required all black hoodies, the cover of Night, and the gigantic horse trailer she'd rented earlier that morning. Side seat driving, Rose swung an arm in front of her triplet, nearly crushing Vi's nose as she pointed to the gravel lane they'd nearly missed. "There, on the left."